life. We ask for chances fair. We ask for chances fair. If we should win, we should win. Let it be by the code. Let it be by the code. Faith and honor held high. Faith and honor held high. If we should lose, we should lose. We'll stand by the road. We'll stand by the road. And cheers, the winners go by. And cheers, the winners go by. Day by day, day by day. We get better and better. We get better and better. Don't get beat, beat. Don't get beat, beat. Won't beat, beat. Won't beat, beat. Ah!
Who say they want it? Who say they ready? See, you might not like it, but you gon' respect it, cause this is West Texas. Who say they want it? Who say they ready? Hey, coach, they might not like it, but they gon' respect it, cause this is West Texas. I said it's game time. You know it's game time. Hey, coach, they know it's game time. You know it's game time. I said it's game time. Come on. Hey, coach, they know it's game time. Hey, who say they won't? We won't. Who say they ready? We ready. They might not like. We like it. But this is West Texas, and they gon' respect it.
We'll talk about a way to end the non-district season as the Wall Hawks put 40 on the Big Spring Steers tonight. Yeah, claiming their 7th win over a Class 4A team dating back to 2012. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Hawks Stadium. I'm Manny Diaz. Homecoming night here for the Hawks, and honestly, not a bad way to get a dub. We saw plenty of Hawks get involved tonight. Some underclassmen contributing in a very, very good way. This offensive backfield doing some serious work tonight along with that defense. We're going to hear from these Hawks players, including Coach Guy, but first things first, those Twisted Root highlights.
Tonight's Cover 1 highlights are presented by Twisted Root Burger Company.
Well, here we go. Joe Walker and the Hawks coming off a big week against the Sonora Broncos. Good for 2.5 sacks last week. Tonight looking to wrap up the non-district season against Ethan Cortez in the Big Spring Steers. Opening drive for the Hawks, things not off to the greatest start. Sutton Braden loses the handle. Big Spring recovers. Next year's drive, Big Spring going for it on 4th down. They give it to this kid, the 6'2 senior Jeremiah Cooley. If he gets to the edge, that's bad news. Well, the Wall kids not having it. Garrett Bridgeford especially there for the stop, turnover on downs. Ensuing Wall drive, Sutton Braden had an amazing week 4 tonight, and just not his night. Fumbles again, would suffer a bum ankle before the night was done. Thank goodness for the bye week. Next year's drive, the Hawks said they had to get pressure on Ethan Cortez. Colton Diebich, well, doing just that with the sack here. Wall would hold off the Big Spring threat, but here facing 3rd and 23. Coach Guy, what you got in the playbook for that? Well, just goes over the middle to Kai Herbert. This kid is dangerous in space, picks up the 1st down. Unfortunately, the drive would stall. Nonetheless, great play. Meanwhile, that Wall defense just battling tonight. Check out Colton Diebich coming up with another sack. This kid, monster tonight. Next Wall drive, the Hawks would score some field position off of a good punt return. I'll let your boy Mason Kendall housing it here for the 14-yard touchdown. Extra point try no good. The Hawks are on the board 6-0. Little more than 4 to go in the half. I tell you, it takes guts to run this Hawks offense. Mason Fuchs keeping it here and showing us why. Diving for the 1st down. 2 plays later, he's at it again. This time putting it in the air, hooking up with Coleman Kuhn. Not only making the grab, but gets both feet in. My man. Very next play, all of a sudden, Houston Guy morphing into Cliff Kingsbury on us, airing it out. Fuchs finding Hunter Teplis inside the 5-yard line would lead to a Hawks score. But the Wall kids not done yet here in the 1st half. Tonight seeing multiple guys making big plays from the backfield. Fuchs dialing up a strike to sophomore Chase Rios. That'll do to put the Hawks up 19-0. Well, right before the end of the half, that Wall defense going to work. How about Tate Jones not only deflects the pass, but almost comes down with it, and likely for a pick 6. Good for an AUM Holistic Therapies Play of the Game nominee. 3rd quarter now, Hawks up 26-0. How about this kid, Chase Rios? The sophomore's coming to play tonight, just refusing to go down. Few plays later, Fuchs finds Rios in the flat, and like Kai Herbert, dangerous in space, picking up a nice chunk of change here. Under a buck to go in the 3rd quarter, and why not cap it off with a 2-yard Mason Kendall touchdown. 33-0 Wall at this point. He was good for 3 of those on the night. Fourth quarter now, let's just put it out there. It's an AUM Holistic Therapies Play of the Game nominee, and rightfully so. Senior Austin Gray just comes out of nowhere to make this pick. Oski! Ensuing drive, Houston guy putting plenty to work in that backfield tonight. Bryson Ballard taking kids with him on his way to a Hawks first down. Few plays later, why not throw another fullback in the mix? Grady McCray at 5'5", $140, this kid has a motor, taking it in for the score. That's how it would end as the Hawks stacked 40 on Class 4A Big Spring tonight, as the Hawks get the dub 40-12 over the Steers. Mason Fuchs, 7 of 10 passing, good for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nice stat here, 4 Hawks getting in the end zone tonight, led by Mason Kendall with 3 touchdowns.
Tonight's Cover 1 postgame sound is brought to you by the Caverns of Sonora.
It's kind of a feather in our hat if we get to play somebody like this, the caliber of team, the caliber of program, and a kind of feather in our hat if we can come away with a victory. And when they come out here on the field tonight, I was a little bit nervous. You know, they brought a ton of guys, and they looked like grown men, and I was a little concerned before kickoff. And our kids play. You know, you can't ever underestimate those little guys in green.
I mean, it's great. This was our homecoming game, and it was also our first win of the season here at home. There's nothing better than winning in front of a full home crowd like there was tonight, especially on homecoming. It's awesome to impress all your fans, have a great game, and this is the last one for us, so it meant a lot.
We brought them up, you know, a couple weeks ago when our running backs were kind of getting thin, thinking that maybe we'll use them as backups. You know, they've come in and they've started filling starting positions, and you know, we really haven't missed a beat from our starters to those guys coming in.
A lot of heart in the players. I mean, they want to be out there. They're playing as hard as they can, and we have guys out there that haven't played that much. I mean, when one of our starters, he had a few hiccups, which happens to the best, and then they came in and filled his spot. We played and fired back, and we had some mistakes in the game, but hey, every football team does, and we're going to come back bigger and better, and that's what we did tonight with our other players.
We all stepped up, we played our game, and it's homecoming, so you got to be happy about that. It's nothing much, it's just a faster paced game than anything. It's just you got to keep your head on a swivel, and you got to be ready for anything.
It's just all week we're coached to be real aggressive. They pass about 75% of the time, so we had to watch that pass on the screen. So we had a bunch of stunts planned to get back in the backfield and put pressure on the quarterback. And that's what we tried to do, and it was successful. We also had a bunch of help in the secondary. When those balls did get out, most of them, they got batted down.
They've kind of been the part of our team that's kind of held us in the games when our offense was struggling. As our offense starts to turn out more points, maybe we can keep them off the field a little bit more and give those guys some rest. And they did a great job tonight again.
I mean, sometimes just like every other play, get down and fire off fast, and sometimes you're just at the right place at the right time. And I was there for that when I got there and noticed the screen, batted up that ball, and then I was looking up for it and I couldn't find it, and I almost had that pick six if I would have found that ball, but I didn't. So just part of football sometimes.
Tonight's Play of the Game is brought to you by AUM Holistic Therapies.
How about that AUM Holistic Therapies Play of the Game? This week it's courtesy of senior Austin Gray, just coming out of nowhere for the pick in the fourth quarter. It was the nail in the coffin for the Steers offense, not to mention setting up Wall's final touchdown. Yeah, that's good for this week's AUM Holistic Therapies Play of the Game.
It's time for Manny's Cover 1 Final Call of the Night, presented by Pettit Productions.
On paper, Big Spring had this one on lockdown. CJ Harris and Jeremiah Cooley flat out look like grown men. Why the Steers just didn't throw it up to these guys and say, go get it, is beyond me. Honestly, it's likely a different game had they did, but that's for another day. But what's really impressive is not only that the Hawks can go toe-to-toe with stud athletes like we saw tonight on any given Friday, but the scheme that gives them a chance to win. In a world filled with spread offenses, Houston guys Hawks keep it real with the flex bone that plays as much defense as offense. An option-based scheme that stresses the run, wears teams down, and flat out keeps them guessing. Goes to show, sure, a finely tuned air raid offense is great. Nothing wrong with that one bit, but sometimes it's being as blue-collar as your community and telling your opponents, you may have the studs, but we got the guts. you're a Hawks fan, gotta love what you saw tonight. The future most definitely looks solid for this program moving forward. Well, it's a bye week next week for the Hawks. We won't see them for another few weeks, but next week, the Cover 1 team back at it with the Central Bobcats, who came up with a 26-21 win over Weatherford tonight to open the district season. Next week, Euless Trinity, state-ranked Euless Trinity comes to San Angelo. Whew, we've been waiting for this one, folks. Malachi Brown versus this amazing Trinity defensive line. We're going to see what these kids are made of when they host the Trojans. We're going to see that one next week right here back in the Concho Valley. Nonetheless, before we end this show tonight, well, we can't forget about the fans and what goes into these games, from the little ones to the band to the cheerleaders, to, just fans all together. That's how we're going to end this one with our mic check. Sights and sounds from homecoming night here in Wall. Well, for Sofa Couch Media's Cover 1 and for all that helped out tonight, I'm Manny Diaz. Good night and God bless.
Tonight's Fan Mic Check is brought to you by Oasis Crop Insurance.
Congratulations to all of our Duchesses of the 2018 homecoming court.